Welcome back to First Things First. Undisputed is coming up right after us. We have had a great time for the last 3 hours, but it's time to find out what kind of great time Jenny Taft and the guys will have on Undisputed next. Good morning, Jenny.
Good morning. Yes, I can tell you guys have been having a great morning, and hopefully we'll do the same. Coming up on Undisputed, who is the more valuable Cowboy, Ezekiel Elliott or Amari Cooper? And I'm back to you.
Thank you, Jenny. Time now for Say What? John Gruden and the Raiders made their HBO Hard Knocks debut last night. And if you think Gruden was going to cozy up and watch the premiere, think again. Say what?
Maybe some guys will put it on it. I don't know what it's even called, where you can record it, watch it whenever you can, but we're not going to be eating Cracker Jacks and peanuts and watching it.
All right, this bit of coaches, it's a football coach exclusive thing. I'm so locked into everything. It's my book, face space, the tweeters and the, what do you call it, the Tavos, the DRVs, I don't know.
Television?
Shut up. These guys, I'm so sick of football coaches pretending like because I'm so locked in to my 43 defense this year, I don't even know who the president is. What day is it? I can't believe I'm saying I can't. I mean, how do you even use a television? Zip it, Gruden. What, you were on. The reason you have this job. Hold on. Yeah. The reason Gruden has this job is because of television work. It's not because of how he finished in Tampa. It's because of how great he was on Monday Night Football and Gruden's Grinders. And now you don't even know what a DVR is, Gruden? What, have you been locked in a hermetically sealed tube for 10 years? Zip it. It's lies. It really frustrates me. Maybe more than it should. Almost as much as Jenna throwing his phone.
He's going to be good. He's going to be good on there, though.
Yeah.
But I did warn you. This is what Gruden is about, man. He's about that hype, that talk. He's going to be good on there. Because he can edit it. He can control what goes out to the public.
I agree with Nick with like 1,000% less on the decibel scale, but I do agree.
Nick just told us to hold it, zip it, and we weren't even talking.
I mean, honestly.
I do that sometimes when I'm really into something.
Really?
I preemptively preempt.
Yeah, we know.
No, you only do it on this show. You don't do that at home. What?
He lives with sanity.
Correct.
On to the Cowboys now. Ezekiel Elliott remains away from training camp, still down in Cabo. It has been reported that Zeke told the team back in January that he would not play a game this season without a new deal. And back in February, Stephen Jones said that negotiations with Zeke would probably start with Todd Gurley's deal. While Jones says that type of deal is still possible, it certainly doesn't seem likely.
I still, think that's within realm. At the same time, I think the market reset with Le'Veon. I think you see what happens with Gurley, how tenuous it is, and then you get a great player like Le'Veon, who's every bit as well thought of as Gurley, and he had unfettered free agency. He had 32 teams with no draft picks attached, and the market was 13.5, and less than Gurley. So, at the end of the day, business changes, and we certainly pay attention to that as well.
There's an interesting course of events here as far as the timeline goes, you see, between when Todd Gurley, or rather when Ezekiel Elliott said, well, I won't play without a contract, when Stephen Jones said, you're going to get Gurley money and go from there, and then now it's down to Lev Bell. Why don't you walk us through what the timeline was for this?
Well, this is the thing that's really interesting to me is that Zeke tells the team, he warns them, before they start their offseason, before they start planning as far as this bucket of money, before you start giving it out, he basically says that, you know something? Hey, if I don't get my money, then I'm going to be a problem around here. And then we go through.
That was January.
Yes, we go through. Todd Gurley plays in the Super Bowl, plays in the playoffs, plays in the Super Bowl. Doesn't look like himself. Then people are starting to say he has an arthritic knee. Now that deal's looking like a bad deal for business. Then we hit free agency. Well, L. Bell, he's definitely going to get Todd Gurley money because Todd Gurley was already under contract, set the market. He's a free agent. He'll at least get that. No, the money wasn't there for him like that. So now the number came down. So now Zeke, he's made a mandate to them. Stephen Jones says that the negotiation starts at Todd Gurley. And you know what? Zeke gets in trouble again. So now, if they were thinking about that, looking at now, is the market reestablished? Because once Zeke goes to the principal's office, he has the issue he has in Vegas and is mandated to meet with the commissioner. Maybe Dallas at that point said, wow, this kid has not learned his lesson. And maybe the contract we were thinking about starting with Todd Gurley, we need to rethink this. Because I believe that the Jets were the only team to really step up, that he felt like I had to go take that offer. And then Zeke getting another issue off the field. To me, Jerry Jones is in the strongest position, and this is going to be a staring contest, that I believe Jerry Jones is going to win.
So I find another part of this so fascinating, which is I've never heard a team or management use reset the market in the context Steven's talking about it. We only talk about the market being reset upwards, meaning Michael Thomas reset the wide receiver market. First guy to get $20 million a year, even though some of that's funny money.
Typically, it can only be reset if you have a collective bargaining agreement, you have new money that comes in, or something changes. Remember the NBA when the salaries open back up?
Absolutely.
But then they close back down.
Sure. And so but we've seen guys, and it's the phrase that's used, when he hits free agency, he will reset the market. So Todd Gurley, before hitting free agency, reset the running back market entirely, above where David Johnson had said it. David Johnson was 3 years, $39 million, $25 million guaranteed. Gurley blows that out of the water. 4 years, 58, and here's the most important number, $45 million guaranteed. And then you have right after that Le'Veon Bell, who has a similar off-the-field profile as Zeke. Now, it's not about violence, it's about drugs, but question marks about one misstep away from potentially missing an entire season. He hits, and Stephen Jones says these words, unrestricted free agency. The whole league can say what his true value is, similar to what happened with Kirk Cousins, where a player of that caliber on offense doesn't often hit unrestricted free agency, but did. And you know what the league said? $27 million guaranteed. That's the most you can get. Gurley, $45 million guaranteed. So it's not about the $13.5 million per year that Lev Bell got and the $14.5 million per year that Gurley got. It's the guarantees. It's $45 million down to $27 million. And so the Cowboys are saying their position is the market can be reset both ways. It cannot just be reset up. It can be reset down. And the Rams were operating with incomplete information. They were operating under the hypothetical of what would a superstar running back be worth if he hits free agency. The Cowboys are operating with the information of we just saw a superstar running back hit free agency, and the market spoke. And the market said 2 years guaranteed at around $13.5 per year, 2 more funny years on the end of the contract. That's what the market says. Zeke ain't trying to hear none of that. And so this is where the Cowboys, if they had never said anything, they'd have been in a better position. I don't know that he even should have said this, but at least this does add some clarification and some clarity on, okay, this is why they are at an impasse, because they are using Le'Veon Bell as the standard bearer, and Zeke wants Todd Gurley to be the standard bearer.
You said it perfectly. This is not what Ezekiel Elliott or his people or his team want to hear, but there's also, at this point, this many weeks in, we know that he's not going to say, oh, okay, if that's how you feel, Stephen Jones, Jerry Jones, then sure, we'll come back, we'll accept less. This just has the feel like this is going to get very messy, very ugly, if it hasn't already. How do you think this plays out? Do you think Ezekiel Elliott will start missing regular season games?
I am starting to think, when you have the Dallas Cowboys, yesterday they released early in the day that they had made substantial offers to all 3. That was strategic. So now they're negotiating in the media. Ezekiel Elliott immediately got to one of his contacts, that being Josina Anderson at ESPN, and he released the statement that I told the Cowboys.
I gave him a heads up. I didn't blindside him.
I told him. So he's doing his part so that the fans know his side of the story. The thing is, the Cowboys are worried about the guarantees, and they're worried about moving forward. Where do I see a compromise? If they can happen to guarantee him these next 2 years and then give him an extension of 4 years and guarantee him all the first 2 years in that, you can get to that Todd Gurley. If he then if he gets 4 total years guaranteed, then I think it would get done. My guess is, because you're talking about the 2 years left plus 2 of the 4 on the back end. Right. I mean, because the 2 years that are left are pretty much guaranteed anyway. They're not going to be able to cut him.
Absolutely.
So you just throw them into the guarantee part, and I think that helps bridge the gap between the two sides.
And Zeke's, the other, I think, angle, and I'm sure Zeke's agent is pressing it, is you guys keep talking about Todd Gurley being a cautionary tale for the Rams. That they right now, we think, by the way, Gurley might come back and have another 2,000-yard from scrimmage season, and hopefully he does. Hopefully that knee is not as bad as it appears to be. But it looks like that's a contract they would like to pull back. Well, it goes both ways as well. Le'Veon Bell might be a cautionary tale for the Steelers in that you were 13-3 with him. You did not pay him. He missed the entire season. Now, I don't think Zeke will miss the whole season, but what were you without him? You were a Super Bowl contending team.
Who didn't make the playoffs.
A quarter yard away from being 14-2, beating the Patriots in the regular season, having the 1 seed that year. And then you don't have him, and you miss the playoffs for the first time in a half-decade. One player that good can make that much.
And there's no way that Ezekiel Elliott and his team can think that he's going to get another contract after this one. So it becomes very important. As a running back, they have the shortest shelf life of all the premier players that we have. This could be realistically be his last contract.
All right, let's move on to the New England Patriots. Over the weekend, Tom Brady signed a 2-year extension that actually isn't an extension, one that makes him a free agent after this season. Then word came out that the 4th-round draft pick, Jarrett Stidham, the young quarterback, is reportedly turning heads in training camp. And then there was this. Tom and Giselle put their Boston area house on the market. In case you're looking, it's like a cool $40 million. See, I know you're looking to go somewhere with all that Google Maps situation. Is there any chance the Patriots move on from Tom Brady after this season? Or are these all just strange coincidences?
Well, this is what the Patriots, there is a chance. They have it situated that those years are just fictitious years. And if Tom Brady does not play, or if Tom Brady was to get hurt, yes, Bill Belichick can move on. Bill Belichick, I have not seen a coach or a manager outside of Nick Saban. They have that gene where they don't get emotionally attached to the player as other people do. Now, Nick Saban, not as much as Belichick, because Saban is dealing with younger kids, and I have seen Saban. He cares so much about these kids, but they have that strange where they don't feel uncomfortable.
Unemotional.
Situations that make other people uncomfortable, they're not uncomfortable, and they can make decisions without putting the emotion into the equation. Everyone in the organization has faced it. Eric Mangini, a former friend of Belichick, coach of Belichick, and when I say former, I mean that. When he left, it was goodbye. Not till I see you again. It was goodbye. And that's the reason this organization, man, they've been able to bounce back from coaches, players, Richard Seymour, Lawyer Malloy, Ty Law, one after one after one. Chandler Jones recently. Belichick has set the law, and this absolutely could be, based on the language of that contract, his last year with the Pats.
I just want to put it the other direction, because we know the Pats could move on from Brady. What Brady is signaling to me with how he responded at that press conference, not hiding his frustration about the contract and putting his house on the market when he did, even if it's a bluff, is, hey, y'all, I can move on from you too. And it is, we know Brady wants to be a Patriot forever. We know Brady, it's important to him. And to me, the Pats are using that against him to a degree. They don't feel like they have to protect themselves against Brady experimenting with free agency when he is an unrestricted free agent, because they know he has said, I want to be a Patriot forever. Chris has talked about on the air multiple times, just moved into a new house in Greenwich. It would infuriate me on Chris's behalf if Fox, if they were trying to negotiate an extension with Chris, was like, well, he did just move. Do we think we can use those things?
Yeah, there's a $15,000 buyout.
Oh,
they can get out that
all right, there you go. So now they know.
And I got it on me.
No problem. But
Here it is.
To use those types of things against somebody, because we're cold, but he's not. Man, I think Tom Brady finishes his career as a Patriot. He's opened the door to where he won't. And that is wildly fascinating.
Today was a great show.
It was a good show. Let's see if Undisputed can follow suit. That starts right now.
Let's do that. Challenge.